my buddy Dallas and I, we had watched the movie Facing the Giants. Everybody see that movie, Facing the Giants? You know, I was kind of knocking Christian films. I don't mean to really come hard against them. I'm just more evangelistic in nature. I want to reach the world. But those films do have a place. They certainly edify and encourage and build up the body. And in this case, this movie right here really encouraged me. There's a scene, it's a football movie for those of you who haven't seen it. This old guy's walking on the hallway praying over the wall lockers. And he comes into the coach's office, and there's no chance these guys are going to win the football game. But the old guy says, you know, you're waiting for a harvest, but you haven't plowed the field. Your field's not ready for the rain. And so with that, the coach took that advice and started doing things as if, hey, well, maybe we do have a shot at it, and stepping out in faith and doing some things. Of course, they ended up winning the football game. Well, my buddy Dallas approached me, and he said, I got this idea for a movie. And we went out looking for some locations that he had in mind out in East Texas, out in Tyler. And so we're out there checking out locations, and on the ride back, we had basically outlined the whole story on index cards. I came back and wrote the story, and after I finished writing, this was made to be a mainstream movie script. After I wrote the script, I looked at it and I said, man, this is easily a $2 million budget. And we had nothing. And so we started thinking, well, what if we plowed the field? And we decided to come up with a trailer, basically a 3-minute video that would illustrate the movie as we're looking to try to raise money for it. We had a casting call. We put out a notice to local actors. It was a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday morning, 2 hours apiece. And we had 85 actors show up from all over the Metroplex and as far east as Tyler because they heard what we were trying to do. These people were willing to work for free because we had no money, and they believed in what we were trying to do. A lot of very talented people. And so we put together a promotional website. It's theproteanfield.com. It's me and Dallas right there. And we went out. We literally had no money. We had consumer-grade equipment and all volunteers. In fact, a lot of the scenes you're going to see, I'm going to show the trailer in a second here, were actually the auditions. We shot the auditions on a green screen. So I put in backgrounds and stuff like that. A lot of the backgrounds you're going to see on there were fake. And all the animation and stuff was done on my home computer. But what we were trying to do is plow the field and basically show potential investors and people, look, this is what we were able to do with nothing. Just imagine what we could do if we actually had a budget.
You're on top of the world right now, aren't you?
Yeah. You know, I didn't think this day would ever come. All that hard work, it's about to pay off big, honey.
I'm so proud of you. I always knew you could do it.
You're not living, man. I mean, this virtual reality crap, it's keeping you locked up. Come on, man, let's get out of here. Get your mind off things.
Virtual mind reality, or VMR. With the VMR device such as this, we can literally program our soldiers to do just about anything. This is because everything is vibration. Once you understand that, it's just a matter of identifying the frequencies. Because frequencies can always be modified, amplified, and distributed.
We have before us the opportunity to forge a new world order.
We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
Forget about all these politics, all this election nonsense. We live in a fallen world, people. Our fight is not against man, but against principalities and powers. Spiritual wickedness in high places.
This looks so real. Gavin, you've got to try this.
He's in a coma. They say he might never come out.
Every day, more and more people are tapping into the field. Everything's going precisely as planned.
The Army General, who has never flown a jet before in his life, was literally being programmed with the experience of air-to-air combat right before your eyes.
Hey, man. I want to know what the thing did to my son.
Look, trust me, I want to get to the bottom of this as bad as you do.
Why are these kids dead?
What do you know about MK Ultra? MK Delta, Operation Paperclip, Project Bluebird. What kind of investigator are you? You might want to consider some protection.
What do I need protection for? I'm not going to be playing this game.
It's only a matter of time before they're not going to need video games to do what they're doing.
And what you've seen here is just the beginning.
Hey, all right, we got one. Woohoo! The idea behind that was we're thinking about movies that we liked, that we enjoyed, and we had just seen, I think it was Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman, and movies like Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts, Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington. These are all kind of movies, genres that we enjoyed, Dallas and I. And we thought, okay, rather than making a Christian movie, what if we took a concept like that, kind of a government conspiracy type movie, like thriller type of thing like that, and imagine what would it be like if Enemy of the State, Will Smith's the main character, what if he was a believer? You know, just put a believer in that kind of real world scenario and just kind of see what happens. So that was kind of the premise that we went with behind that story right there. Now, maybe like me, you like going to the movies or renting movies, watching them on TV or whatever. Lately, I would say within the last, at least for the last year, we started to see a lot of common themes showing up in movies. In particular, if you can see these two posters right here, these are recent movies that just came out in blockbusters that were in the theater. And I'll go ahead and ask, what do you think these three movies have in common?
Lots of special effects.
Definitely a lot of special effects.
New Age.
Concepts. Mm-hmm. All three of these movies actually depict superhuman hybrid saving the world. In the first movie there, they mix DNA and everything with an alien species and create a human-alien hybrid. And in the last two, it's the son of a god, little g. Son of Zeus in the first one there, and son of Poseidon in the second movie there. The son of God saves the world. Problem is, it's the wrong son of the wrong god. The other thing I started to notice is a lot of this. There's just a ridiculous amount of books and movies and TV shows coming out right now about vampires and that sort of thing. True Blood, Twilight, and Supernatural isn't really so much, well, it kind of does a little bit, but the point is, what this says to me is that the world is hungry for the supernatural, and the church is not providing it. Now, I don't know about you, but I read John 14:12, and Jesus says, anyone, not just Peter, James, and John, but anyone who believes in me will do the same works that I've done, and even greater works, because I'm going to be with my Father. Now, we can debate what the greater works are, but I'm more concerned with the previous statement, we'll do the same works that I've done. Well, does that mean we're supposed to walk on water and turn water into wine? I'm like, look, I didn't write it. That's what it says. It's either a Sharpie or a highlighter, as far as I'm concerned. I've chosen to highlight it. Anyway, that's a whole nother, I could preach on that. Point is, the world's hungry for the supernatural. That's what I'm trying to make. Now, as I started thinking about all these things, I started thinking, man, you know, you could put a whole lot of time and effort into making a movie, and that's great, but it's kind of a one-shot deal. You either make it or you don't. Secrets of Jonathan Sperry, I can tell you, didn't make it. Okay? Now, I started thinking more about TV, and thought, okay, what if you could create a TV series that would be intriguing enough that the world would want to watch, that you could spread your story out over a longer period of time. They're glued to the TV for 4 hours a day anyway. Why not get part of that ourselves? Then now, instead of a one-shot deal that you may or may not see in selected theaters, people could go to the TV channel, watch your TV show, and you're making a movie every week, basically. So my vision started to go from movies to television. And I started thinking, okay, the most successful TV shows of all time, at least as far as I could tell, are these three. Star Trek, TV show nobody believed in. Wagon Train to the Stars was Gene Roddenberry's pitch to the studios, because that was a time when they were all talking about Westerns. He comes in with this idea about basically a Western in outer space. Instead of stagecoaches, it's a spaceship. People are like, yeah, whatever, dude. Here we are, 30-something years later. There's been 6 different television series based on that one idea. There's been 11 movies. There's numerous fan-based websites, countless books and merchandise. Similar statistics for the X-Files and Lost. Man, when Lost was first came out, Sheila and I kind of used to make fun of people watching Lost because it was almost like a cult following. We didn't get it. And if you just kind of pop in the Lost and watch one episode without context and knowing what's going on, you're lost watching Lost. So we didn't get it. But then we ended up getting season 1 box set on DVD, and we became one of those freaks that we used to make fun of them. And I can tell you something, we became that statistics, 4 hours a day. We literally watched, it'd be like 4 episodes on one disc, and we'd watch like one episode and turn to each other, what do you think? Yeah, okay. Next thing you know, we watch the next episode, and then we look at the clock, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, we got to work the next day. We're like, oh, just one more. We became totally hooked on that show. And what I loved about, as opposed to the other 2 TV shows that had a character story arc in 1 hour, Lost strung you out for 6 seasons, where they left you in a cliffhanger in every single episode, so you become addicted, so you become hooked, and so you have to tune in, and so you have to buy the DVD box sets. We bought all 5 and are eagerly waiting for season 6 to come out. That just finished. We watched it online on the internet. Same statistics. They haven't had a movie yet, but numerous fan-based websites, large international cult following, numerous books. In fact, even the church latched on to Lost. They started publishing books called Finding God in Lost, and just some of the symbolism and stuff in the show, people are using and talking about it. So now we're looking at this, and they're like, okay, this is the way to go. And so prayed about it a little bit, and God had already basically confirmed a whole lot of things in advance, and this was just further confirmation. He gave to me the idea which became known as seed.